snack machine of life is unlimited. The snack machine of life is unlimited. The snack machine of life is unlimited. There's enough for us all. Whatever you get doesn't take away from me. Whatever I get doesn't take away from you. Whatever we get doesn't take away from anyone. There's enough for us all. Try to remember those wise words from Shakespeare. This above all else, to thine own self be true. Sounds easy, right? Well, maybe, but I for one struggle with it. And besides, Shakespeare's characters didn't have to deal with social media. But soft, what posts through yonder Facebook breaks? It is Juliet with Portia and Ophelia at a fabulous party to which they doth not inviteth me. But it's easy to get sucked into the comparison thing. In fact, I do it all the time. I'm doing it right now, wondering how I compare to the speaker you had last week or other guest speakers you've seen. Are they more helpful? Will I be as inspiring? But I've started to push back against those thoughts with some strategies that might help you. Now, I'm not talking about the standard advice you can see everywhere, countless experts or articles. They give suggestions that sound great, but in reality, I have trouble following. So instead, I use humor to create a new twist on these old ideas, because my philosophy is if you can laugh at it, you can deal with it. Dolly Parton is a great example of this. I mean, sure, she's a celebrity who is super successful and wealthy and probably has a more fabulous life than the rest of us, but she also has to deal with way more criticism and comparisons. However, as she says, I don't mind those dumb blonde jokes because I know I'm not really dumb and I know I'm not really blonde. Or book you'll find on this subject will advise, be your own competition. Compare yourself with you and no one else. As Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And she's right, but what she didn't say was, how do we stop giving that consent even if we don't want to, since it is so natural to compare ourselves to other people, which then makes us feel inferior. But if we can't always help it, why not find the right people to compare ourselves to and in the appropriate context? I'm not talking about looking at someone who's worse off than I am. I mean, that doesn't make me feel better. That makes me compare myself to people who have far worse problems than I do, but complain less, so they're better people, which makes me feel like a horrible person. Like I said, this is something I struggle with all the time. Instead, why not adjust the context? For example, when Carol Burnett was growing up in Hollywood, she believed you could only be a show business success if you looked like Elizabeth Taylor or Tony Curtis, which made her pretty discouraged. But then she realized, heck, she'd be fine. People were always telling her she looked just like Tony Curtis. Or for me, instead of comparing myself to the speaker you had last week, I remember, who wants to hear the same talk 2 weeks in a row? No matter what I do, at least I'm different. And actually, that really is the point. Embracing what's unique about ourselves. Carol Burnett certainly did that, made quite a career out of being unique. Oh, I don't want to be anybody but me. I like who I am, what I have, and what I can do now. And there's no reason you can't feel the same way too now. We can all be glad to be ourselves.